morning. It's Monday, August 5th. Thanks for joining us on Up to the Minute. We're bringing you all the news, announcements, and events, along with a couple of special guests. I'm Dr. Amy Tan, Dean of HCC's English and Communications, and I'm joined by Dr. Nicholas Cox, our History Department Chair. Good morning, Nick.
Hey, good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Did you get outside at all this morning before you came to work?
Well, I mean, just to go to my car, but I did spend
Just
a lot of time outside on Saturday and Sunday with my sons.
That's really good. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit. Um, we are live on HCC TV when HCC is in session. How can people find us, Nick?
Yeah, that's right. We are on the Houston Community College District's Facebook page and on YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and on HCC TV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Well, we're so happy you're joining us today live on Monday. We are going to learn why engaging with the community is so vital to the success of our colleges. And we have Taylor Thornton, Community Outreach Coordinator for HCC Northeast, who's going to be talking to us about that. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning, Amy. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's wonderful to have you join us today, and we'll be right with you in just a minute. And Dr. Cox will be interviewing you about community outreach.
Awesome. Thank you.
First, for Mental Health Monday, one of our monthly guests is discussing the positive effects of nature and getting outside. Dr. Sean Fitzpatrick, the Executive Director of the Jung Center of Houston, and our Mental Health Monday guest. Welcome back to the show, Sean.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I know that you're off-site today, joining us from your road trip. We'll get to more of that.
Yeah.
Summer means that many of us get a chance to take vacations, maybe even get away from Houston's heat and hurricanes, or a trip to the beach, or maybe someplace cooler. And so I know you're going to tell us a little bit about how spending time in nature has a positive effect on us. Or is it just that we're spending time away from work and other stress and pressures?
The answer is definitely both and breaking those not breaking but leaving those patterns, right, that just are so much a part of our life can make a huge difference in our mental health. But there are specific benefits that come along with being in what we call nature. And it happens that my intention was to be in my office reflecting back about my vacation, but I'm stuck in my vacation still. I was sitting in a dealership up in the Panhandle, waiting for my car to be repaired. And just came back from 2 weeks of spending time. I got to visit, Utah and Arizona. It was very hot and beautiful. And then I actually got to spend some time working in Colorado, up in the mountains. And it just is very clear to me, and the research demonstrates this too, that spending time in nature has wonderful impacts on our mental suffering, like our suffering, and also can really help us develop psychological resources that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
Yeah, I think we certainly feel it. We feel it when we do get to leave work behind and just get outside. And I also was lucky. I got to go on vacation where I did get to do a lot of walking outside and go to some amazing parks. And even just looking outside my office window, I get to look out over our Memorial Green at HCC. So I feel really lucky that I have that.
Yeah.
But talk to us, what do we mean when we talk about nature, and how does it provide this ease to our mental suffering, and how does it build those psychological resources?
Yeah, nature is an interesting word, and I think is probably worthy of a seminar. You could spend a whole semester talking about how we came about to call part of our reality nature. But I think that the simplest sort of imperfect way that I have of talking about it is that nature is usually an experience, and it's an experience that we have outside of our constructed environments. If I was in Amarillo or sitting in Houston, Texas, 150 years ago, we wouldn't have screens, right? There'd be no air conditioning, which is for almost all of human history, right? No such thing as air conditioning. We wouldn't have mass transit, except perhaps, 150 years ago, there would be a couple of trains, but not the network of trains that came to be. So this is a very, 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 very small period of time in which we have been separated from what we call nature. We have to remember that everything around us is nature, like all the substances that make up our built environments are come from the natural world. But what we've done is taking these selected elements and use them to build these spaces and to create technologies that actually keep us from having these sensory experiences that have been part of human life all throughout evolutionary history. So some part of us is always uncomfortable. We're separated from what our bodies naturally expect. We're never actually outside of nature, but we're living in a highly restricted version of it. And we've lost vital connections to the whole of the natural world.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, I tell people all the time, Houston doesn't exist without air conditioning, right? Like this city would never have been settled. It wouldn't be the fourth largest city in the United States. And so that's something to think about, how technology drives or develops, right? So how it encourages the development of civilization. And also we need shelter, right? We like, it's one thing to have nature, but human beings need shelter, and I want to acknowledge that. But it is just fascinating, this concept of how technology divides us.
Yeah, and again, like I have a lot of thoughts about that that I won't go tearing off into, but what I will say is that you're right. I mean, we discovered during the hurricane, the aftermath of Beryl, that we actually lost a couple of a couple dozen people due to heat. Due to the effects of the heat and not having air conditioning. So this is not about saying that technology is bad. It's about noticing the radical changes in our lives because of technology and how our bodies haven't really kept up with that. Yeah,
Right. And how we become accustomed, right? We rely on the technology and the air conditioning. And during the summer, we want to go from our house to our car.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be outside even for 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Well, so talk to us. Can you share some of the research that there is on this?
Yeah, it's really fascinating. So just a couple of studies. So researchers have found that subjects perform better on cognitive tasks if they're listening to these sounds that we call natural, right? So like crickets chirping or birds calling or the sound of a stream, then if we're listening to what they would call urban sounds like traffic or people talking in a cafe, right? So you can see that there's an immediate effect on our productivity, our ability to think more clearly when we're exposed to these kinds of auditory clues. There are also interesting studies that have found that green spaces near schools promote cognitive development in children. So you were talking about the green space that's right outside your office window, like that has a measurable effect on your ability to function, that you have access to that space even visually. So for children, green views near children's home promote self-control behaviors. It's fascinating. They're better able to self-regulate when they have access to what we call green. And also people in public housing, people who are in public housing units in neighborhoods with more green spaces show better attentional functioning than those assigned to units with less access to natural environments. And there's a lot more research on this too.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And so we just have about 2 minutes left. And I know we want to hear what's happening at the Jung Center, but really quickly, are there ways that we can all integrate more nature into our lives?
Yeah. So one, I just want to acknowledge that along with everything else, we had different levels of privilege. So whether that's green spaces that are close to us or even being in bodies that are, it's easier and safer to be out in those, right? So it's easy for me as a man, middle-aged male, white guy, to go out and take a walk in my neighborhood and have that, which I do almost every morning, right? To have that experience. It takes more planning for some of us, and we may not have the spaces that are accessible to us, but we can actually lean on technology for this. I heard a wonderful presentation by the head of the Harvard's Refugee Trauma Program a couple of years ago, in which he advised people who really couldn't leave refugee camps or really couldn't leave these spaces where they were working and they were really exposed to trauma to actually use technology to do it, to listen to recordings of birds chirping and streams flowing and so on, to make that conscious effort to reconnect. with the
Yeah.
sensory experiences can make a big difference.
Yeah, and you know, there's some wonderful apps out there for that. Before we let you go, tell us what's coming up at the Jung Center of Houston.
We have a brand new semester of courses that are coming up starting in September. August is a quieter month for us programmatically. We're actually doing some work in Haiti virtually over the course of August. But I really do encourage viewers to visit our website and check out younghouston.org. You can the classes for the fall are starting to show up on the website, and also stop by the gallery. It's cool. It has working air conditioning.
Cool. Yes, walk over to the gallery, get outside for a minute, but then come inside to enjoy all the wonderful things.
Yeah, we
Um,
have a beautiful show by the High School for the Performing and Visual Arts. The students there is up right now. It's really cool.
yeah, definitely a highlight that you do that show every year.
Yeah.
And my producer is reminding me that there's a wonderful rain app on your phone that will help.
Oh,
That, you know, very
yes.
calming. Yes.
Which I use. It's Simply Rain. Yeah, I've used it for years.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's been wonderful talking to you about this topic, and certainly something that I appreciate because I do try to get out every morning to run, and if I can get outside, it's always better. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Dr. Sean Fitzpatrick, Executive Director of the Jung Center of Houston, and our Mental Health Monday guest. We're gonna have all your information in our post after the show.
Thank you so much, and hope to see you next month.
Definitely. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Up next, after a commercial break, Nick will visit with one of HCC's community outreach coordinators.
When I grow up, I want to work in a lab to build robots.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me and then you just linked arms with me. I don't think you know how much like that helped me. I finally like knew that I had somebody.
We're back with Taylor Thornton, HCC Northeast Community Outreach Coordinator. Taylor, welcome to the show.
Hi, Nicholas. Thanks for the invite.
Well, we are looking forward to learning why engaging with the community and other stakeholders is so vital to the success of HCC's colleges. Why don't we start with you telling us a little bit about your role as a community outreach coordinator?
Yeah, sure. So I am the community outreach coordinator for HCC Northeast, and a little bit about HCC Northeast. We have 5 campuses, and the pretty cool part about each of our campuses is that they're located in some of the most historical neighborhoods and communities. And so it's just so exciting that I get to wake up every day and do something that I'm so passionate about, which is engaging in the community and just being able to create those partnerships.
Well, tell us a little bit about fostering partnerships and collaborations. How do you do that? Like, what do you do in your job?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have some of the most awesome partnerships and collaborations that we do in HCC Northeast. And I may be a little biased, but our community members and organizations are superior and phenomenal. And so with working with each of our partners, we're able to have those valuable networks to expand the educational experience. And so when we talk about providing a real world education, Houston Community College is relevant and visible at HCC Northeast. And so when we talk about those partnerships and collaborations, it's so important. And the unique opportunity is that when we work with partners, we're able to identify some of those challenges and how HCC can actually be a partner and contribute to the development. And Nicholas, something that I just kind of want to give an example of in community outreach and how it's so important for partnerships. We work with a wonderful organization where we're visible and we share different types of information about our programs. And they recently reached out to form a partnership with our HCC Foundation to provide scholarships just for their clients and residents in HCC Northeast. And because of that partnerships, we're going to be able to increase enrollment and also have some of that development to increase in the community and to, pretty much make it a sustainable future for everyone. So that's just a little bit about our partnerships.
No, that's really great to hear, because when we talk about stakeholders, often we think first about students, staff, and faculty. And yet, as a community college that is publicly funded, we certainly have stakeholders that are not on our campuses. And I wonder if you could talk a little about who those stakeholders are for Northeast.
Yes, so I cannot list every single person, but just to name a few, we work with all of our chambers. We have about 5 chambers in our community, which is a lot. And they're so awesome. We work with nonprofits such as United Way, Avenue CDC. We work with our super neighborhoods, our civic clubs, Houston Independent School District, our sheriff's office, police departments. So we work with a variety of organizations. And here recently, with our back to school events, we did something with McDonald's. And so just thinking of those innovative ways to reach out to the community, everybody has to eat, right? And so we're like, okay, why not? Let's go and meet the people exactly where they are to get this information out that we are a higher education institution and we are here to serve the needs of the individuals in the community.
Now, I understand you guys might be doing some innovative stuff with the use of social media and traditional media. Can you tell us a little bit about those campaigns?
Yes, so social media is just that two-way connection and another form of ways that we can just reach out to our community, whether that's students, whether that's any of our other stakeholders. So if you follow us on social media, you'll see a lot of engaging reels. You'll see some student success stories, which our students love to see themselves on our social media pages. You'll see here recently, we're doing some polls on our Instagram lives, and there's an addition of notes on Instagram. So you'll see things such as, are you registered to vote today? Do you know that we have a registration fair? Excuse me. And so just kind of those pretty cool things that we're working on, just to say, hey, we're here physically, but we're also here in the media aspect as well.
Now, just to add a little details to your last statement there, at the Northeast College, do you guys have enrollment fairs on Saturday, the 10th and 17th at all 5 campuses, at the big campuses? Where are you guys doing that?
Yeah, so thanks so much for bringing that to my attention. So on this Saturday at our North Forest campus, we will have a registration fair, and we would love for everyone to come out. We're going to have 93.7 there. We're going to have some cool games, some refreshments. So if there's anyone looking to just get the information or to come and register for classes, or you're registered and you want to bring someone from your family, please tell them that we're going to be at our North Forest campus this Saturday. And then on the 17th, we'll have all hands on deck at our Northline campus off of Fulton Street, the same time, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we would love for everyone to just stop by, visit, get some pictures, post on social media, and let everyone know that you are coming to HCC Northeast.
Well, we have about 1 minute left, so I got last question for you. How can community members engage with you?
Yeah, so as we talked about earlier, please go follow us on all of our social media pages. We're on LinkedIn, we're on X, formerly known as Twitter. We are on Facebook, and we are on Instagram, HCC Northeast. Engage with us, comment, like, and then we also have a monthly newsletter. So I'll make sure to get that link to you, Nicholas, so that way we can share that. But if you would love to see what we have going on and join the newsletter, we do have that available. But invite us to your events. let us know what you're doing. We'll come and speak. We'll set up tables. We'll share information. And then the most important thing that everyone can do is just share the information with anybody that you come across, that HCC Northeast is in the community. We are ready to assist. We are ready to help. And we are here to provide that real world education.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Taylor Thornton. And we'll have more information about all of these programs in our notes after the show. Have a great week.
Thanks, Nicholas. Have a good day.
All right. Well, coming up after a quick commercial break, Amy and I will return with some news and announcements.
When I grow up, I want to work at a school so I can be a teacher.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
And we're back with some news, events, and announcements. First off, we are remembering Felix Fraga, former HCC and HISD board member and Houston City Councilman. Felix Fraga has died at age 94. Here at HCC, he's best known as the namesake of HCC's Fraga Academic Campus and Fraga Engineering Program. A product of Houston's East End and a former UH Cougar baseball player, Fraga served as Ripley House manager for 20 years before becoming a vice president for Neighborhood Centers, Inc. The HCC Southeast Felix Fraga Academic Campus represented HCC's innovative approach to early college, high school, and dual credit pursuits in the Second Ward. Fraga was also the recipient of the Mayor's Hispanic Heritage Lifetime Achievement Award for his contributions to Houston's Latino community. Fraga's son, Bo, said he never actually retired, but remained dedicated to community work until the very end. HCC says goodbye to this longtime friend.
Thank you. That's a really touching little tribute to Mr. Fraga. Done so much for the East Side community. All right. Well, our next announcement is for our veterans out there. Veterans and their loved ones and dependents can join this Veteran and Military Affiliated Student Success, or VMAS, virtual fair. This event will help students learn how HCC can help them with their careers. The session will include information about the VA's educational benefits, fast-track programs, and disability compensation. This will be a virtual event on Tuesday, August 13th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can check our post after the show for registration information.
It's going to be an excellent event. And we have some big news about our Coleman Health Science programs. They will be offering classes at our Midtown Administrative Building. HCC students interested in health science careers will soon have the option to take pre-healthcare courses in Midtown starting this fall. Students can take English, medical terminology, and other prerequisite courses at HCC's administration building, which is located at 3100 Main. Classes will be held in the evenings and weekends, so students who work traditional business hours can still begin their healthcare pathway. So we're encouraging students who want to get into the healthcare professions to go ahead and get those prerequisites out of the way before they apply to the program. For more information about registration, be sure to check the post after the show. And we have some more STEM marketing coming up.
That's right. That's right. HCC's 2023 Business Plan Competition winner, Mommy and Me, won the grand prize and are hosting a free STEM carnival this fall at HCC. This amazing event will feature drones, robots, and rocket launches. It'll be Saturday, September 7th at HCC South. from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can check our post after the show for more information.
Absolutely amazing. Hope everybody can come out. And don't forget, we are having registration fairs, and you can also just go straight online to register. Our fall registration is open. Classes are starting on I think 2 weeks, right? August 16th is the first day of classes for our regular term. So registration is ongoing with regular and smaller semesters offered in a variety of programs. Like all of HCC's courses for the summer and fall, they are offered online anytime. Don't forget, those classes do have deadlines. We do have some online on a schedule if you want to have to see your professor virtually, but still have some interaction with your professor face-to-face. And then we have hybrid, which is in-person face-to-face and also virtually online. And we have our traditional in-person classes and our hybrid labs. Those are mostly for our science and studio art classes. To learn more about all HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover costs, visit hccs.edu/apply. Thanks for joining me today, Nick.
It was great to do this again.
Yes, and don't forget, even though you were outside this weekend, get outside again today.
When I get home.
Absolutely. Coming up, tomorrow we'll meet another student success story whose journey has included being cybersecurity student alum to current cybersecurity professional and part-time HCC faculty. And later in the week, our own pastry arts program will be featured when the HCC Lifestyle and Culture segment returns. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.